A little while ago, I watched a video on YouTube where a guy ranked all the rides at Universal Studios from worst to best, and it inspired me to make my own video about a much lesser known amusement park, Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana. I've never lived much more than an hour away from this theme park, and nearly everyone I've met in my life has been there at least once. In this small town in the Midwest, people would never guess a park like this would spring up amongst the cornfields. Today, I will be ranking every ride at Holiday World from worst to best. Keep in mind that this is just my personal opinion. Number 25, The Doggone Trail. To be fair, this is a children's ride. It isn't fast and it definitely isn't exhilarating. You sit in a Jeep and it takes you around a track. This ride is ranked last because no one over the age of 10 without kids is going to ride this thing. Number 24, The Tippecanoes. Just like the Doggone Trail, Tippecanoes is just a children's ride. I can't remember riding it either, but this one seems more fun just because you're floating in a canoe on water instead of riding around on dry land. Side note, you won't find any of the rides in the Christmas area in this video because they were all children's rides that I don't remember riding, and their level of intensity sits around that of the Doggone Trail or the Tippecanoes. Number 23, The Star-Spangled Carousel. The most okay ride in the park. It isn't a terrible experience, but I mean it's just a carousel. At least you get to choose between different animals to ride. Number 22, The Lewis and Clark Trail. The Lewis and Clark Trail is one of those rides where you hop in a Model T and drive around on a track at your own discretion. This ride is ranked higher because you can control how fast you make it to the end. Now, if you ride this ride like I do, then I would rank it amongst the top 10, honestly. And by that, I mean intentionally stopping so that everyone has to sit and wait behind you while you pretend that there is a mechanical malfunction, only to take off as soon as they get out to help push your car. Or smashing into the back of the car in front of you as the people in it try to get off. I definitely don't do this, by the way, and neither should you. Number 21, The Holodog Express. This is more or less another children's ride, but what puts it above the Lewis and Clark Trail is that there is at least a little bit of visual appeal. You pass by statues representing various nursery rhymes, while the conductor of the train you're on tells you their stories. Number 20, The Howler. The weakest roller coaster in the park, basically another ride for kids, but with some more intensity. Originally named the Holodog, the Howler was made as a gateway to more extreme rides. Number 19, Kitty's Tea Party. Don't be fooled by its appearance. This ride can go hard. The teacup you're sitting in spins faster the more you turn it. Adults could ride it, so you could potentially pick up some serious speed on this ride. I would rank it higher if I was a fan of vomiting. Number 18, Eagle's Flight. One of many rides in the park whose purpose is to simply make you go in a circle. The ride is pretty fun, but compared to other rides who do the same thing, you don't go very high off the ground. Number 17, Crow's Nest. Like I said, same general concept, except on this ride you get some serious air. This ride is pretty underrated, fun and relaxing. Number 16, Hollow Swings. More swinging action, though not as high up in the air. This ride gives you your own seat and takes you up at varying altitudes. It also looks cool at night. Number 15, Firecracker. More or less a souped-up carnival ride. Okay speed and mild exhilaration. There's not much more to say. Number 14, Liberty Launch. This ride is pretty fun, but it's ranked somewhat low because the line is always long and the ride itself is not. You get one good drop, then you're done. That and it's not that tall for a drop tower. Number 13, Turkey Whirl. Another spinning carnival ride. Turkey Whirl is pretty fun, speed is nice and it spins you pretty good. Unlike Firecracker, the seat itself spins with your elevation. Number 12, Scarecrow Scrambler. This ride is interesting. When you're actually on it, you can feel how hard you're being thrown in a single direction before turning and being thrown again. Not as nauseating as Turkey Whirl and twice as fun. You don't feel the spin as much as you do the launch. Number 11, Rough Riders. Just some bumper cars, not much more to say. Being in control of your own vehicle, just like the Lewis and Clark Trail, is great. But on this ride, you are encouraged to crash into other cars, turn it around and get into a head-on collision to microdose some whiplash, or just do donuts to entertain everyone in line. Number 10, Mayflower. This ride really isn't worth riding if you're not sitting on either end of the ship. Getting maximum height can give you that feeling in your body like all your organs are free-falling. Number 9, Good Gravy. So this ride hasn't actually opened yet, so this ranking is just a prediction. Coming May 2024, a Thanksgiving-themed family boomerang roller coaster. In terms of intensity, somewhere between the Howler and the Raven, it's meant for people that are just getting into riding roller coasters and people that are getting sick of them. Overall, unimpressive stats. It's not very tall or fast. Being that it's brand new and that there is only one train, the wait time will likely make this ride not worth getting on. This may not be fair to say considering I've never been on it, but I have rode similar rides. It looks more fun than riding the same old set of swings or spinning ride. but if you're looking for a genuine adrenaline rush, you're better off waiting for one of the other coasters. Number 8, Gobbler Getaway. This ranking may be controversial being that the ride is so tame. Better than Good Gravy, Liberty Launch, and Scarecrow Scrambler? Okay, hear me out. It's 98 degrees and you're about to die of a heat stroke. You walk into a dimly lit, cold, air-conditioned building and the smell of pumpkin pie hits you in the face. You don't even mind the wait because it feels so good in there. The actual ride isn't intense by any means, but it is fun to try and get a higher score than your friends. This Thanksgiving-themed dark ride is an underrated gem. Number 7, Revolution. Yes, another carnival ride, but this ride is actually really fun. It spins, and the platform comes off the ground. I'm sure you rode something similar before. You get stuck to the wall and when you get off, you're seeing stars. The line is never too long because it seats so many people at a time. We usually try to make this ride every time we visit the park. Number 6, Frightful Falls. A Halloween-themed log flume that takes you through a dark tunnel, past a cemetery, and down a slide into the swamp water. This ride is great for cooling you down in the hot sun, and the actual chute is pretty exhilarating. The spooky theming could use some upgrades as this attraction is over 30 years old, but it's still something unique to the park. Number 5, Raging Rapids in Boulder Canyon. I know this ride just closed permanently, but I'm still including it on the list. This ride was a lot of people's favorite, and it was the best family ride in the park. Simulating whitewater rafting, you float down a channel on a boat, getting hit with spray guns and geysers. Towards the end, you are taken through an abandoned Old West town. When the waterfall isn't working, you get off this ride a little damp. When it is, you get off soaking wet. My buddies and I used to stand up in the middle of the boat and try to keep from falling overboard. Holiday World closed this ride for good after the 2022 season for unknown reasons. Unfortunately, they have a bad habit of taking out their best attractions, like the Pilgrim's Plunge, Banshee, Scarebnb, the Firecracker roller coaster, and Paul Revere's Midnight Ride, usually replacing them with something a lot less exciting. Number 4, The Raven. Voted the #1 wooden roller coaster in the world from 2000 to 2003, this ride takes you on a scenic journey across Lake Rudolph and through the woods. Out of Holiday World's 3 wooden roller coasters, this one is the smallest, but it is still a great ride. Number 3, the Thunderbird. This is a lot of people's favorite roller coaster in the park, and for good reason. Being a steel coaster, this ride is super smooth, and it is the first and only roller coaster in the park to go upside down. The only thing stopping the ride from being ranked higher is how short of an experience it is. With the track being so short and the coaster being so fast, the duration of the ride is less than that of the Raven. Number 2, the Legend. The middle child of the park's 3 wooden roller coasters, taking you through the woods and past the water park at a high speed with a double helix and double down element. The Legend is almost the best ride at Holiday World. The only downside was how rough it is, but even that they fixed through refurbishments. A gothic horror-themed adrenaline-inducing thrill that I can't recommend enough. Number 1, The Voyage. The tallest, fastest, meanest ride at Holiday World. It is widely considered one of the best wooden roller coasters ever built. The Voyage is the second longest wooden roller coaster in the world, the 6th tallest, and the 6th fastest. It is also number 1 in airtime at 24.3 seconds. Not only is the Voyage one of the best roller coasters I've ever been on, it's one of the best rides. From start to finish, it's non-stop insanity. The duration of the ride is greater than that of the other coasters in the park as well. If you go to Holiday World and ride just one ride, make it this one. Nothing beats riding this ride in the dark either. Going through the woods at night, you're in complete darkness until you return to the station. Well, thank you all for watching. What is your opinion on my ranking? What would you change? Let me know in the comments below and I'll see you next time.